6 months with a Breitling. I was sent a long-term review watch from Breitling, and I've been wearing this Chronomat chronograph for over 6 months now. I've taken this hiking, I've taken this camping, I've taken this ziplining, I've worn this to collector meetups, I've traveled with this watch. I've even petted the world's largest rodent, the capybara, while wearing this watch. And today I want to share my candid thoughts about the model, the good and the bad. Like all of my content, I'm under no restraints or constraints to be favorable, and I will say what's on my mind, whether Breitling or whether you like what I have to say or not. Now, a couple things that really stand out. One is this Rouleau bracelet. It makes this watch. There's no way around it. I don't know. I mean, this model would not be the same if it had a rather basic or different style bracelet. I think the Rouleau is so complementary to this angular case that had its heyday back in the 1980s, early 1990s. So you notice the quality of this bracelet. You notice the finish of it, the taper. I like the fact that it's predominantly brushed. This is just a top-level bracelet. And this is the aspect of the watch where when I show this to other watch fans, other watch collectors who might be on the fence about the Chronomat, this is the thing that really kind of pushes them over the edge of the fence. They see the Rouleau, or sometimes this is called the bullet bracelet. They feel the quality, and it really is that inflection point that makes the luxury-priced value proposition seem worth it to them. I totally relate to that. Now, that said, it also suffers from having a butterfly style clasp. The look is seamless and clean while you're wearing it. There's no external clasp that goes beyond the form of these cylindrical links, but it definitely, in my opinion, needs a sport style clasp with a traditional micro adjustment to dial in that fit. So if your comfort spot for how big the bracelet happens to fall between link sizes, you're just out of luck. And I think that's a shame. That's the biggest negative aspect of the Chronomat chronograph. Now, the other thing that really stands out in a good way is the dial. Breitling makes exceptionally great green dials, and I think this is an example of that. It's more than just the color. It's more than just the sun ray. This almost appears to have a lacquered finish that you really only pick up on when you angle the watch just right in the light and you see that reflection. You see the break in elevation of the sunken dark sub-registers. I think this is just a very attractive look from the color to the texture to the clean reflections that, again, are not always present, only in certain light angles. I think it also helps that the dial has a blackout date window that's set within the lowest sub-register. I like the lume on those sub-register hands. I love the classic Applied B logo. I think this is clean, it's balanced, it has an attractive layout. I've had no issues in reading the time or the date at a glance. So the dial really stands out in a good way, as does the bracelet. Now, I have been fortunate to own several Breitlings over my time as a watch lover. So with my own experience with a Datora or with a Super Ocean Heritage or with an Avenger GMT, I think if you enjoy this brand, if you enjoy the distinctive designs, the weight, the wrist presence, the history of the brand, maybe you're similar. Maybe you've owned a Super Ocean Heritage or an Avenger or whatever the case may be. This Chronomat chronograph is likely going to be one that you'll enjoy. If you're similar to me, I'm a fan of Breitling. I've been a fan of Breitling for many years. And this one is especially satisfying. And the thing is, there's just no confusing the Chronomat for another brand's model, especially on the Rouleau style bracelet. This is Breitling through and through. Now, other aspects that I've enjoyed, this has had very good timekeeping, this in-house movement, this Chronomat chronograph caliber. It's a COSC certified movement, and I've noticed plus 1.5 seconds per day with my time with this watch. That's been consistent, so I very much appreciate that. The movement is tastefully decorated. You can see it through an exhibition style reverse of the case, and the tactile engagement of the chrono pushers. They're just easy to use. They're crisp. They're satisfying. It's a positive aspect about the watch. Now, this also has good ARC or anti-reflective coatings, so you definitely notice the muted iridescent blue sheen that comes from direct reflected light sources. They're not overpowering, but I like to see it. This is not the best ARC that I've seen from Breitling, but it is certainly welcome. I appreciate it. This also has good bezel action. It has an easy grip because of these rider tabs, so that's good to see. And lastly, just the overall weight of this watch, the dominant stance on the wrist. Some days I just crave that powerful watch that has great wrist presence, that's fun to wear, where you feel the weight of the steel, you see the quality, you appreciate the details. This is that type of watch, plain and simple. Now, here are the areas that I found annoying during my time wearing this watch. It is not perfect by any means. I mentioned that lack of a micro adjustment on the bracelet. That's the biggest one. That's a deal breaker to a lot of watch collectors. And candidly, I either wore this just a hair too loose for my taste or a hair too tight. I was one of those unfortunate that fell in between length sizes. And I noticed that was a larger issue in the warmer weather months when we were camping and hiking and doing some of those activities where your wrist swells a little bit more. We're coming out of a mild winter here in Utah. That was less of an issue for me in the cooler months, but it's something that was definitely annoying and I think hopefully should be addressed in the future from Breitling. Now, the other thing that I want to mention is how easily this bezel just gets marked. Not necessarily scuffs and scratches and hairline wear marks. I mean, that's going to happen with any high polished surface watch. That's just a reality of wearing a watch. It's the smudges, it's the fingerprints. Those are the things that honestly it started to bug me because it's always there. No matter how many times I wipe it down with a microfiber cloth, you always see something coming through, whether it's near the rider tab or somewhere in the middle, and it's just kind of annoying there. So it's a reality of an all polished bezel. It's never going to look new again. That might bug you or that might not be an issue. Just be aware of it. Now, lastly, there is a super chronomat option. If you like this style, but you don't want a polished steel bezel or a polished platinum bezel, there's a version that has that. There's the super chronomat, and that has a ceramic bezel insert, but it's also a larger watch, and it even wears larger than that dimension would indicate, and it is only suited toward those who love extra large sport watches. That might be you, that might not be you. Now, final thoughts. Honestly, really enjoyed wearing this Chronomat for at least the past 6 months. I've actually had it closer to 9 months. It's a distinctive design. You feel the quality of it in person. It's also tough, so you can use this like the sport watch that it is without reservation, without worry. It's more than just a good-looking luxury watch. It is that, but it's more than that. Now, as a watch fan, I also like how the Chronomat name is one of Breitling's oldest. This is a storied, iconic Swiss brand. It has the history. The Chronomat name predates many of their well-known lines like the Navitimer or the Avenger or the Super Ocean, so that's fun. There's also quite a few different color options and strap options and material options. If you like the NFL, there are even versions for the various markets and different teams. So I appreciate the variety of consumer choice. If budget was not a constraint with me, I would go with one of the new meteorite dials in precious metal, in more of the attainable side of things. I love that. Obviously, this green dial and the copper dial really stands out in person. So that said, if you enjoy the style of Breitling, if you're looking for something that just has its own character, its own DNA, if you have a thing for sporty watches, chronographs, this is one thoroughly worth exploring. Thank you.